Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 146 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
Hey, we did some fun stuff.
We did some stuff.
I don't know, this might not be super fun or anything, but we had to get our car inspected.
Yeah.
And oil change and all that jazz. And we brought it to the dealer, which is like an hour or so away from us in Orchard Park, New York. And so after we had the car taken care of, we stopped at a little place that's really close to the dealership. It's called Pie O' Mine in Orchard Park.
Yep, Pie O' Mine and Greens.
Yeah. This is not a fully vegan restaurant, but they do have vegan options. It's a pizza place and salads. They do pizzas and salads.
Yes.
I think they might do sandwiches too. I'm not sure.
They do sandwiches and wraps.
Yeah. So we got ourselves a vegan pizza.
We did.
What did we put on this pizza?
We put a lot of things on the pizza. So we started with a red sauce, and then we did loads of veg, spinach and arugula. We did some fresh tomatoes, some red onions, some roasted red peppers, some broccoli.
Yeah, it's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, so it was really lovely. Went crazy with the veg, and that was a given because Christine just said, you pick.
Yeah, anytime it's like kind of a situation where it's like you go down like a line and you pick from all the different vegetables. I know Sam's going to pick all the vegetables, so there's no point in me even starting because she'll be like, and add this, and add that. So I just let her go.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And it turns out spectacularly usually so.
Well, yes, because, veg.
Yeah. You're kind of really good at putting the veg together.
Yes.
So that pizza was really good. And we also got a side salad.
We did. We got a small salad that we shared between the two of us. Mm-hmm. And we started that off with mixed greens and kale.
Yeah.
Did some chickpeas and some edamame and tomato and cucumber and sprouts and all kinds of wonderful things.
They have all kinds of great choices.
They really do.
Yeah.
And they turn it into a chopped salad.
Yeah. So they put everything you pick into a little bowl. And then you go to the choppy guy, and the choppy guy dumps everything out onto a big cutting board, and he's got this giant, like, curved blade thing, and he chops it all in together, which is so cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Adds you pick your dressing, and we picked like a lemon vinaigrette.
It was indeed a lemon vinaigrette.
And he sprinkles the lemon vinaigrette on all the choppy stuff, and he works the dressing into the salad, and then he puts that into the bowl that he's going to give it to you in. It's really kind of cool.
Yeah. And then at the very end of that process, you get to put some extras on top. So we did some sunflower seeds and some chopped walnuts.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was really wonderful. And the thing was that we actually got 2 meals out of this.
Yeah.
So, we were eating in the restaurant. So we had our pizza and our salad, and we each had a couple of pieces of pizza, and we each had part of the salad. And then we were just like, yeah, we're kind of full.
Yeah, we're going to take the rest of this home.
And so we took the rest of it home, and dinner looked a lot like lunch.
Dinner was identical to lunch.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah, which was great.
But it was good.
It was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a nice treat. We hadn't had pizza for a little bit.
Yeah.
So it was a nice treat.
Yeah, so that's a chain, Pie O' Mine and Greens. So if you ever see Pie O' Mine and Greens, just know that they do have vegan options. They have vegan cheese, and they keep everything separate, so there's no, cross-contamination or anything, which is
it's really nice.
So, yeah, it's a good option that's out there.
Absolutely.
Then on Saturday, I attended the Food Empowerment Project's webinar. They did this webinar, and the webinar was titled The Embodiment of Injustice, the Dairy Industry. Really great webinar.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you should keep an eye on Food Empowerment Project because they often do these free webinars, and you can get some really great information from like expert people.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you a few of the people that were there and what they were talking about because it was really well done. The first speaker that they had was Dr. Claudia Serrato, and she talked about the legacy of dairy and colonialism.
Nice.
Lots of really great stuff there, exploring the socioeconomic and cultural impacts on Indigenous, Latinx, and Black communities of the dairy industry. Really great.
Yeah.
Really great talk. She had a lot of really great stuff to say and super enlightening if you're not familiar with how colonialism and dairy go hand in hand.
They're kind of inextricably linked.
And they actually just today sent me a link to the recorded webinar. So
awesome.
Yeah, so I will share a link to that webinar if you'd like to watch it yourself. It's almost 2 hours, but you can break it up and watch it at your leisure. I would recommend that people do watch it because there's a lot of really good information about the dairy industry.
I'm actually going to have to watch it myself because while Christine was doing her webinar, I had kind of gotten into a reading mode. And when I get into reading mode, I like to stay there.
Yeah.
And so instead of participating in the webinar, I actually went into another room with my book.
She did.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the second speaker or presenter that they had was Sheila Donya Kukan. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her name. She did a little presentation on how the dairy industry kind of rewrites what's actually going on, the greenwashing.
Sure.
How it's always happy cows. There's always pictures of rolling fields and all that. And she talked about that and how to identify that sort of greenwashing and how to consider the source when you're hearing things about dairy as far as like health claims and stuff like that, to remember to always consider the source, because the source 9 times out of 10 is the dairy industry itself.
Right.
And then after her speech, which was really well done, we heard from Alejandra Tolley, who is a communications team member at Food Empowerment Project. And she shared a wonderful interview that she did with a dairy farm worker, Giovanni Martinez. And he told his story about what it is like working within the dairy industry. And it was really moving.
Yeah.
Talking about the long days and the horrible conditions and how he felt for the animals and how he didn't think any animal should be living in the conditions that they live in, the filth that's involved, how he can't understand how people can drink milk after seeing the filth involved.
Yeah.
He said it's a terribly dirty, dirty product. And sure, they pasteurize it and all that, but from the get-go, it's nothing but disgustingness, basically. Yeah. And, he talked about having to take the calves away and how terrible that was, and really moving and brave interview with him. So if anything else, if you just click on that link and listen to his interview.
Yeah, definitely going to have to check that out.
Yeah, totally worth your time. And then the last presenter was Dr. Shana Sadai, and she is a climate scientist. And she talked about climate and environmental injustice of animal-based dairy. Talked about how it is contributing to climate change and climate impacts, shared all kinds of really great graphics and reports on the climate impact of the dairy industry. And so anyway, it was a really well done webinar. And I always like to attend their webinars because they put them together really well.
Yeah.
There was a break in between, which was nice. And like I said, I'm going to include that link. Click on that link and watch it little bits at a time if you don't have 2 hours to sit down and listen to the whole thing. But I do recommend that you listen to it. So that's what I did on Saturday.
And thank you for that.
Yeah. Oh, and we wanted to remind you to listen to our interview with the guys on the How I Vegan podcast. Check out their episode 62, if you'd like to hear us being interviewed. It's a pretty fun interview.
Yeah, it was. We listened to it the other day. It was a good time.
Yeah, really good time. And follow their show. If you want another vegan podcast, I recommend them.
Yeah, they
highly.
Really are wonderful, really entertaining, a lot of fun.
They're really funny. Really funny. But anyway, I guess that's enough about what we've done. Do you have anything else, any other exciting news?
No, it's been a pretty chill week.
It has been pretty chill. It was a beautiful day today. We spent a lot of time out on the patio.
So beautiful.
Yeah. Perfect.
It was a perfect day. It was like 65 degrees, and we live quite close to Lake Erie, so there's always a breeze. Yeah. It was just divine.
It was
outside today.
Delightful day. All right. Well, then I guess we'll just move on. We have a recipe this week.
We do.
So let's just jump into this week's Vegan Cookbook Challenge recipe of the week.
So So this week we took a recipe from the Minimalist Baker's Everyday Cooking. 101 entirely plant-based, mostly gluten-free, easy and delicious recipes. And the recipe we looked at was the vegan no tuna salad sandwich.
This was all right. First, disclaimer. Sam is the sandwich queen.
I love making sandwiches.
She makes the best sandwiches. She's so good at, just making that bread to sandwich ingredient ratio perfect. And anyway, this chickpea salad, I've had chickpea salads before. This was really good.
Yeah, this was really good.
The textural elements in it, with the celery and the red onion, and it was just really good. And then we got this kind of thick wheat, like seeded wheat bread, toasted it.
Yep.
And you added tomato and lettuce.
And red onion and sprouts.
And red onion. It was just a really good sandwich.
It was great.
Yeah.
For me, the one thing that could have amped it up just a hair in terms of added vegetables would have been avocado.
Oh, it would be nice with some sliced avocado.
It would be very nice with some sliced avocado.
It'd be a nice creamy element too.
But even without the avocado, this was a really awesome chickpea salad.
I agree.
And the thing is, pre-veganism, I was a fan of tuna salad. I never liked chicken salad. I never liked egg salad, but I did like tuna salad. And particularly in the context of like a tuna melt.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Love a good tuna melt.
The fan of the tuna melt.
Indeed. So anyway, I realized that I hadn't really had a salad sandwich or made a salad sandwich in a really long time.
Yeah, I would make like an eggless salad sandwich, but you're not a fan of egg salad. You never were.
Nope.
So that for some reason does not translate
to me at all.
It didn't translate for you. But I've made it for myself, and I love a good like tofu eggless salad.
Yeah, no, but this was fantastic. From the texture of the chickpeas to the individual components of the salad itself. So the sauce or the creamy element of the salad was actually a combination of vegan mayo, spicy mustard, tahini, which I thought was a really great addition. Maple syrup.
Yeah, just that little tiny bit of sweetness.
Yeah, so you get a little bit of kind of earthiness from the tahini, you get a little bit of sweet from the maple, you get spicy and tangy from the mustard, and you get that fat from the mayo.
Yeah, it's a good combination.
It's a really fantastic combination. And then in amongst that, not only do you have kind of the standard celery and red onion that you would find in any salad of this type.
Right.
But you also get capers.
Yeah, the capers.
Diced dill pickles.
Yeah.
And sunflower seeds.
Yeah, so you get that briny element, and the sunflower seeds add another textural element. It's just knocked it out of the park.
It really, really did. And so like from the first bite, I was like, oh, I'll be making this again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
it was
also
really good.
It kind of gives you a little bit of everything that you need, like assuming that you're putting it on a nice dark brown bread.
Yeah, you want a nice hearty bread.
Yeah, good hearty bread, but you're getting your protein from the chickpeas, and you're getting some veg, and you're getting some good fat. And like it kind of takes care of everything.
It's a well-balanced meal.
It's a really well-balanced meal.
And we had it with a side of sweet potato French fries.
We did.
So good.
Yeah, and that's also something that we haven't had in a long time.
Yeah.
So that was a treat.
Yeah, it really was. So yeah, thank you for making this week's recipe. It was a perfect like summer sit out on the patio kind of meal.
Yeah, well, those are the kind of recipes that I'm looking for because that's the time of year we're in.
Yeah. So the book again is
Minimalist Baker's Everyday Cooking, 101 entirely plant-based, mostly gluten-free, easy and delicious recipes.
Yeah, we'll leave a link to that in the show notes if you want to pick up a copy for yourself.
Surely will. I highly recommend you check it out. It's fantastic.
That brings us to our Noteworthy section. In this week's Noteworthy section, we're going to be talking about 9 butcher shops serving everything but the meat. And one of them just happens to be one of our favorite places.
It sure does. So this is coming from Veg News in an article published on June 26th by Tanya Flink. 9 butcher shops are serving up everything but the meat. From seasoned steak to juicy ribs, these vegan meat shops work wonders with vegetables and a cleaver. As recently as 2015, the term vegan butcher shop was an unheard of oxymoron. Today, with dozens popping up throughout the world, the phrase doesn't raise an eyebrow. These cleaver-slinging vegan entrepreneurs have proven that you can make meat from plants, and they're changing the definition of butcher shop for good.
Yeah, so what is a vegan butcher? People might ask.
Until recently, the words vegan and butcher weren't often seen side by side. Veganism entails leading a cruelty-free lifestyle, and this means refraining from the consumption of animal-based foods and products. The word butcher, on the other hand, refers to someone who makes a living cutting up and selling animal meat. While the term vegan butcher may sound like a contradiction, a vegan butcher creates plant-based meat alternatives. Instead of animal flesh, vegan butchers use ingredients such as seitan, tofu, and soy to create plant-based meats.
This seems to be something that is definitely gaining popularity, the vegan butcher shop.
Absolutely. Now, the first vegan butcher shop in the U.S. was, and is, the Herbivorous Butcher in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And they kind of rose to fame through the Food Network when Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives host Guy Fieri showed up and tried their vegan turkey and dill Havarti sandwich.
Yeah, I kind of shot them into a little bit of fame. They have cookbooks. They're a brother and sister team, which is really cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
And so with the success of that episode and their, kind of increased visibility, I think that they are really a tremendous inspiration to the vegan butcher shops that are now sprouting up across the country and the world.
Definitely. They've definitely inspired most of the vegan butcher shops that are around today.
So Veg News is taking a look at 9 of the vegan butcher shops across the country that are doing this absolutely fantastic work. And of course, they start with the Herbivorous Butcher. Many attribute the sister and brother duo behind the Herbivorous Butcher for pioneering the plant-based butcher movement. Cale and Aubrey Walsh opened up shop in 2016 with an extensive menu of deli meats, cheeses, steaks, sausages, and ribs. Today, they're shipping their products nationwide and educating the mainstream audience about what vegan eating can be. Plus, the siblings are keeping busy with another venture, a vegan chicken shop called Herbie Butcher's Fried Chicken.
Yeah, we do have one of their cookbooks, and it's all about making mock meats.
Yes.
Seitan and stuff like that, but I have yet to make something out of it.
Oh, we're going to have to do that then.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because that would be a great experiment.
Yeah.
We've never really done that.
We haven't. And with a name like Cale,
I mean, come on.
You have to have a vegan butcher shop, right?
Seems kind of obvious, yes.
You at least have to be vegan. If your first name is Cale, it's kind of destiny.
Our second butcher shop is The Butcher's Son in Berkeley, California. Like the Herbivorous Butcher, The Butcher's Son is way more than a vegan meat shop. This college town deli serves a full menu for lunch and brunch, in addition to an extensive and mouth-watering bakery menu. However, if you're there just for the meat, they've got you covered, with a rotating selection of items such as packaged barbecue pork, maple turkey slices, lemon garlic herb chicken, and sliced roast beef.
Sounds good.
Also on the West Coast, we have Maciel's plant-based butcher and deli, this time in Los Angeles, California. LA's first full-service plant-based butcher and deli, Maciel serves more than just salami, bacon, and pastrami. Founder Maciel Bañales Luna draws from her Mexican heritage to create Mexican-style ribs and chorizo, successfully winning over Angelinos in the process. Don't miss the shop's extensive sandwich menu either, which boasts pastrami French dip, chicken pesto, and more.
I like a good chorizo.
Now, heading back east, we've got number 4, which is a particular favorite of ours, Grass Fed.
It's our friends Nora and Rob at Grass Fed. They've made it to the Veg News.
That's so cool.
Once again. Actually, I think this is like the second time they've been featured in Veg News.
We always love it when someone we know and love is featured in Veg News. Yeah. It's just so exciting. Yes. So grass-fed vegan butchery got its start when its founders were gripped with an insatiable craving for a breakfast sandwich, complete with the perfect meaty sausage.
See, that's why I love them so much.
That's right.
Because that's what I am always craving. The breakfast sandwich.
Christine can relate. New vegans at the time, Rob Knipe and Nora Rubel, took to the kitchen to develop the perfect plant-based meat. And the rest is, as they say, history. Today, they're whipping up a rotating selection of deli slices, pate, gyro meat, brats, and everything in between right in the heart of Rochester, New York. Plus, they're certified kosher to boot. And I have to say, I've said this before on a couple of our Veg Fest episodes.
Okay.
But their gyro
yeah,
is to die for.
Yeah.
It is so incredibly good.
It's really good.
Just absolutely phenomenal. And they do many, many other fantastic things. Like we've had their Reuben, we've had their Cuban sandwich, we've had any number of things. But oh my gosh, I just keep coming back to that gyro.
Yeah.
It's the first thing I ever had from grass-fed, and it's spectacular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Mm-hmm. The fifth shop on the list is No Butcher out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Located just 10 minutes west of the famed Las Vegas Strip, this plant-based butcher and deli has earned a cult following with its extensive menu of vegan meats, house-made cheeses, and delectable sandwiches. If you're hungry for a next-level handheld, choose between Italian cold cuts, Aloha no rib, no pastrami, and more. Pick up a beer no bacon cheese ball, an order of your favorite vegan meat, and your favorite deli salad to keep the fun going at home.
I want a big vegan cheese ball. That sounds good.
You are a vegan cheese ball.
What's number 6?
Number 6 is an online vegan butcher called Juicy Marbles. This vegan meat company is ushering in a new era of plant-based protein. Rather than focus on staple vegan meats such as patties, crumbles, and sausages, Juicy Marbles is creating whole cuts of plant-based meat. The company currently offers whole-cut loins, thick-cut fillets, and bone-in ribs, but they're known to sell out quickly. Follow Juicy Marbles on Instagram to stay in the know for their next drop and new product launches.
Yeah, let us know if you've tried the Juicy Marbles. I've seen people posting, and it looks really good. I've heard good things about it. So, yeah.
Well, and it's interesting talking about that because it seems like they're doing something very similar to what the next shop is. And this is not a shop. This is a brand.
Meaty.
Yes, Meaty, Meati. And Meaty is, of course, commercially available nationwide, and they deal primarily with mushrooms as their ingredient. Mushrooms have long been used as a meat alternative due to their chewy, meaty texture, but now Meaty is changing the game. Made from mycelium, the fast-growing root system of mushrooms, Meaty's steaks and chicken cutlets will fool even the staunchest omnivores. You can pick up their juicy cutlets at Whole Foods Market and Sprouts locations nationwide.
Yeah, and we tried Meaty a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and we talked about it on the show. It's a pretty amazing product.
Yeah. We did. We liked it. We've had a few little textural issues that we would like to work on.
As far as the way of preparing it, I think.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's a really fantastic product.
It really is. Incredibly clean and really, really flavorful.
Yeah.
Next, we have Mrs. Goldfarb's Unreal Deli. And this is also a nationwide brand. Jenny Goldfarb is no stranger to deli culture. Her great-grandfather, Morris Gross, operated several delis and cafeterias in New York City. So when Goldfarb adopted a vegan lifestyle as an adult, she was determined to recreate the traditional deli flavors she grew up with. And thus, after trial and error, Mrs. Goldfarb's Unreal Deli was born. Today, the brand offers slices of Unreal corned beef, Unreal roasted turkey, Unreal steak slices, and Unreal bacon, which we had just a few weeks ago and was absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, the Unreal bacon was really good.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goldfarb even pitched her brand on Shark Tank and received backing from Mark Cuban. You can find these vegan meats online or in-store at Whole Foods, Sprouts, Publix, Kroger, Wegmans, and others.
The Vegan Grocery Store in Tonawanda, New York.
Indeed. You can also find Meaty at the Vegan Grocery Store in Tonawanda, New York. Finally, we have Prime Roots, which again is less of a location and more of a nationwide brand. This revolutionary plant-based meat brand obtains its meaty texture and rich umami flavor from koji, a type of fungus used in a variety of culinary applications. Not only does it taste and slice just like its animal-based counterparts, Prime Roots meat is far better for the environment, as it requires 92% less water than meat. Currently, the brand's turkey, ham, pate, and more can be found exclusively at partner restaurants, delis, and grocers. You can check out their store and restaurant locator for a partner business near you.
That's really cool. Koji. Yeah. Koji, if I'm not mistaken, is a fungus that grows on rice. You do a fermentation with rice.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so there's some really, really cool stuff happening in the world of vegan meats.
There really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are, like Sam said, these aren't like your typical replacers that you buy in the store.
No.
These are cleaner
products
with far fewer ingredients. They're almost whole food, you know?
Yeah.
And
these are special.
Yeah, they're special. And especially we can speak to grass-fed. They're deli meats, they're vegan deli meats. They're super clean.
Yes.
You know, and super flavorful, really well spiced and all that, and all really well flavored. And just share a little anecdote. Recently, they got a Google review. And the person on the Google review, I think, thought that they were an actual butcher shop that served animals.
Oh, okay.
And they left a review, and all the review said, if you're looking to buy meat, this is not the place. And of course they answered, you're darn tootin'. You got that 100% correct. No animals here.
Right.
So, yeah. Because they're named grass-fed, kind of, you know, if you're not in the know, if you're not from Rochester, you might assume that that is a regular old butcher shop that's serving cows, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So go grass-fed for making this list. And, and go all of those fantastic vegan butcher shops and companies that are making vegan meats, clean vegan meats. That's awesome.
It is. And I got to say, I can't wait until we next head to Rochester.
Won't be long. It won't be long. Yeah, we're doing the Rochester Veg Fest, and I would assume that we'll run into Nora and Rob there.
Yeah.
If not, we will definitely hit up the shop and, you know, pick up some sandwiches.
For sure.
All that jazz. So there you go.
Yep.
We're actually going to Syracuse later this month. Maybe we can
stop on the way.
That
sounds good.
Yeah. Hey, it's time for our main topic. This week, we take another exciting and entertaining look at the world of vegan Reddit. Am I a vegan asshat?
I do love these episodes.
These are fun.
They are. They're fun.
They're fun. We haven't done one in a while.
No, we haven't. We've been covering some pretty heavy material in the last few weeks. So it seemed like a good time to do something just a little bit on the lighter side.
Yeah. So I'll do this first one here. This one comes from Rainy Days on 101. Am I the asshat for buying non-vegan Uggs for a baby? My brother, 32, and his wife, 32, recently had their first baby. The wife is a passionate vegan for probably 10 years, and my brother is vegan now since they got married about 4 years ago. I think he says his exception is honey and oysters he collects. That's interesting. Just an aside. Some people do say oysters if you have to consume any sort of meat, because oysters don't have a central nervous system or brain.
Right.
But in my mind, they're still animals.
I agree with that.
So there are vegans out there that will consume oysters, just in case you have never heard that. Anyway, back to the story. They both tell me it's for animals and the earth. Despite them having this lifestyle, we get on and no major family drama. I bought the baby some mini baby Uggs for a birthday present, and they looked at me funny, and the wife, mother of the baby, said point blank, "We're vegan." It wasn't too awkward afterwards, but I feel annoyed that they were ungrateful for the gift, as it was pretty costly. My other family and parents think I'm the one in the wrong, but how can a baby even be vegan? Isn't this something they, meaning the baby, should decide when they're an adult? So do you think that Rainy Days on 101 is an asshat for buying Uggs? And if you're not familiar, Uggs are sheepskin boots for number one, for a newborn baby, and for his vegan sister-in-law and brother's baby.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually a case of asshattery. I just think it's a little bit thoughtless.
Yeah, I mean, he seems to be aware,
right,
that it was maybe not the best idea.
Exactly. So, this is someone who's saying, I know that my brother and his wife are vegan, and they recently had a child. And of course, the baby is not in a place yet where they can make decisions for themselves.
Right.
And so it stands to reason that the parents would choose that the baby would be vegan in as much as they can be without having ethical convictions.
Right.
So that the baby would therefore be plant-based.
Right. Well, this is a newborn, so...
And right. So, but the newborn is going to be following the actions of its parents.
Right. And
they're not going to be making their own choices.
Right. And I think it is the parents' decision to not provide any products for their baby that contain animal products.
That's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So while I understand them being a little bit hurt at the response of it being just, but we're vegan.
Yeah.
I do understand that. I think a little more consideration could have gone into the choice of gift. Also, if you ask me, and I know this is completely unrelated, but if you ask me, buying an expensive pair of boots for a newborn who is going to outgrow them in 15 minutes...
It's ridiculous.
Makes no sense whatsoever.
Right. Yeah, that's ridiculous in itself. I think maybe that it seems like the mother was surprised, at the gift. Mm-hmm. If she just looked at him and said, "We're vegan." I think she was surprised that maybe he didn't understand that these boots were made from animals.
Yeah, maybe.
Could
be.
I think maybe she could have paused there and said, "Thank you, but we're going to have to exchange these for a vegan version."
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been reasonable.
Yeah. But I think that it seems like she just kind of reacted without thinking. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But yeah, I agree. I don't think this person is an asshat for giving them those boots. He might be a bit of an asshat for even thinking that a newborn baby needs a pair of Uggs.
Well, but that's one of those things. Come on, let's talk about contemporary consumer culture.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that a lot of people might think would be really cute for a baby.
You see people buying baby Air Jordans for hundreds of dollars.
And
yeah. And come on, they're cute, right? The little tiny shoes and little tiny boots and stuff like that.
Cute, but incredibly unnecessary.
Yeah.
And incredibly impractical.
Yeah,
like I said, the baby's going to outgrow them in no time.
Right.
And so, yeah, kind of silly. But I don't think there's any asshattery going on here.
I should have just thought a little more about that gift. He or she should have thought a little bit more before purchasing that gift. What's next?
So our next Am I the Asshat comes from Peer is Japonica and deals with balloon releases. The question is, I just saw several large metallic balloons being intentionally released, one after another, just behind my house, in a park, along a waterway. I went outside and asked why the two individuals were releasing balloons. One said, "A friend just died." I said something like, "I'm sorry for your loss. I'm an animal lover and wanted to invite you to reconsider your choice to release balloons since they land and cause harm to living creatures." The people kind of ignored me, and I'm left wondering if I was out of line. I'm kind of sensitive this week due to several other stressors and wanted to get outside perspective.
Again, I think this is another case of not an asshat, not a full-on asshat. That's a tricky situation there. You're dealing with people in their grieving process, yes. Right? Trying to pay tribute to this lost friend by doing a balloon release. I think the way this person approached them was fine, was perfectly fine. She said, or he said, "I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm an animal lover and want to invite you to reconsider." I think you couldn't have asked them any more nicely.
No, but I'm going to go back to time and place. I agree that the animal lover's concern is valid, certainly, but I don't think that you bring up an ethical question when two people are very simply remembering a recently passed friend.
Yeah, but when do you? When do you tell somebody that it's wrong to release balloons? Because that's usually when people are doing something like that, either because of them losing a loved one or in celebration of something. It's always some sort of, remembrance or celebration or something.
Yeah, and I understand that. For me, I don't know. I think grief and grieving are such a personal thing. And especially when you don't know the people.
Yeah.
You're not going to get a good response.
No, I'm sure they looked at her like, who is this person?
Right. Who is this person and how dare you?
Extremely personal moment for us.
That's right.
And yeah.
And it's not an unreasonable response, if you ask me. So while I don't think they were necessarily out of line for bringing their concern to the forefront, I think the time and place was inappropriate.
Okay. So you would say asshat?
No, not exactly asshat, because I don't think there was malicious intent.
Yeah.
And I think in order to be an asshat, you have to have some malicious intent.
Right.
You know, so again, I think it's just a matter of lack of awareness. It's not actually asshattery.
No asshattery.
No
asshattery there. Maybe there'll be some asshattery in this next one.
Maybe. I mean, although the last AITA episode we did, we found no asshats.
No, we had a couple of like half cheekers or whatever we were calling them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this next one comes from QDL. Am I the asshat if I don't have personal respect for meat eaters? I basically don't know any vegans in my personal life that I know of, and I really struggle with my friendships because of that. Some of my friends are vegetarian, which I appreciate a lot. Actually, in some other friend groups, however, I simply have to avoid the discussion altogether because of how ridiculously defensive they get. And I have found myself not being able to have respect for them. Obviously, I treat people with respect, always, but personally, inside my head, I just can't have respect for the people around me that eat dead animals and refuse to see the immorality of it. Is this a problem? Am I getting too radicalized towards the wrong direction? Edit 1. Maybe respect is the wrong word here. I treat everyone with respect, but I don't admire them as much as friends tend to. Edit 2. My friends are all throughout the spectrum of non-veganism. Some of them eat meat because they haven't really thought about it. Some of them avoid eating certain types of meat, but still eat chicken and whatnot. And some of them know very well about the harms caused by the animal agriculture industry, not only towards the animals themselves, but also other humans, and still get extremely defensive about eating meat. I struggle with all of them, but mostly with the last group, obviously. So, do you think that this person is an asshat? for not having respect or admiration for her friends that continue to eat meat.
No, I don't. I think what this particular person is struggling with is the idea of separating the person as a whole from this one choice.
Okay.
And so I believe, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, that everyone has the absolute right to make their own choices.
Yeah, even if those choices are wrong in your eyes.
I don't have to agree with them.
Yeah.
Right. My job is to make the right choices for me. I can't make choices for other people.
Right.
They get to do that. And I can choose to respect the person for who they are, because none of us are defined by one facet of our personality, of one choice we make.
Right.
So I can absolutely respect the person and not respect that choice.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think the issue that QDL is having here is that she has no friends that are vegan.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was able to communicate with QDL, I would tell her to seek out some sort of vegan community, you know, whether it's online or if there's like a vegan group somewhere in her area where she could go to, like a potluck or something like that, to meet some vegan friends. And then if she really has no respect for her other friends, you know, maybe don't spend as much time with them if it bothers her that much, you know?
Right. And I definitely don't think that QDL is an asshat. This is a very reasonable issue to be struggling with.
Yeah.
As a vegan.
Yeah.
Because you are passionate about that choice and you do understand the detrimental effects that animal agriculture has certainly on animals, on the environment, on human health, on everything.
Right.
And so of course you want everybody else to wake up and see it too, but you don't get to do that for them.
That's true. You don't.
So it's one of those things where you just have to acknowledge that you don't have control over this.
Yeah.
And let it go.
So you would say no, not an asshat.
Oh, no.
For disrespecting.
Well, I mean,
or losing respect.
Well, right. Well, that's a different question. If they're verbally disrespecting their friends,
they do go on to clarify it, with not so much respect was the word, but having a lack of admiration for those people.
Yeah, and that's understandable. But I would say, no, you're not being an asshat if you are at least treating them with basic kindness, empathy, and respect.
Yeah.
If you're out there being a complete and total asshat
right.
to their face, well, then yes, you're being a complete and total asshat.
Yeah.
But short of that, having your own opinion does not make you an asshat.
No, and having those thoughts internally
does not make you an asshat.
Definitely does not make you an asshat.
Yeah.
You can only, you like Sam said, you can't force people to believe the same way that you believe, or to have the same ethics that you have, or to follow the same, moral compass that you do.
That's right.
So you just have to either live with it or find new friends. But it doesn't make you an asshat.
No, it does not.
Let's move on.
Next, we have a question from Lontaris. Am I the asshat for declining to join a pizza party with some friends at a pizza restaurant where they make very large pizzas? One pizza is supposed to be shared by 3 to 4 people. When they said they have vegan cheese and they can make one with 1/2 to 1/4 of the pizza with vegan cheese and toppings. Since going vegan 2 years ago, it has been absolutely no problem for me with either cooking or going to restaurants with the help of Happy Cow and other resources. But the idea of eating a pizza where only part of it or a corner of it is made with what I want to eat, being mine, feels like the worst case of cross-contamination I have ever potentially experienced. I absolutely hate the idea of it and generally think it is incredibly disgusting to eat such a corner of pizza. I want my own pizza, but I want to know, what would you have done in this situation? I eat exclusively vegan food, but I do not want to be seen as picky or to be the one annoying the group. I feel very strongly about what I want and don't want to eat, so this is a very conflicting situation.
Yeah, this is interesting. You know, I don't know if I would want to eat like a corner of a pizza if the rest of the pizza has meat and dairy on it.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely not.
I can't believe that this place wouldn't. I mean, I don't know what this place is, but if that's all they make are those very large pizzas and there's no exceptions to that, I would have to say I'm not going.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Or we have to go someplace else.
Or I would just insist on ordering a separate pizza and taking the leftovers home.
Yeah, take the rest home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or maybe some of the non-vegans at this pizza party would like what you got on your pizza.
Well, I mean, and that would be fine. You know, you could, of course, invite the omnivores to join you in a vegan pizza. It could be an adventure for that particular party.
Yeah.
And if they're not into that, then just order your own pizza, take the leftovers home with you. I mean, who doesn't like leftover pizza?
I know, I love leftover pizza.
So seriously. So no, I definitely don't think you're an asshat for not wanting to eat a pizza that is 3/4 meat and dairy.
Yeah. I agree with what they say here, that it does sound like a bad case of cross-contamination.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that it's not going to be cross-contaminated. There's no way that some of that meat and some of that dairy cheese isn't going to make its way.
That's right.
Onto that area of the pizza.
And there are some situations in which, you know, we are at non-vegan establishments and we can't 100% be sure that there is absolutely no cross-contamination.
Yeah.
But in this case, it seems that there's a very simple solution. Get your own pizza.
Get your own pizza. Yeah. I wonder why they didn't think of that.
I don't know.
It's a brilliant solution.
But no, you are not an asshat.
No, once again, not an asshat. It's been hard finding asshats, which I suppose is a good thing.
Yeah.
We don't need any more asshats in the world.
We really don't. So this is great.
This next one comes from Iced Mangacy. Am I an asshat for this? My good friend, who I will call G, made a friend recently who I will call A, and we are all in a college club together. Ever since G recruited A to be in this club, A has just been saying kind of out of pocket or disturbing things sometimes. I know A is pretty religious, which I know has not much to do with this post, but that gives me icky vibes. Today, I brought up how I saw a cute goose outside the college campus, and I was asking if anyone else saw it. A then said something like, "It would make a good dinner. Have you guys ever eaten goose meat? It's mostly dark meat and it's so tender. I go hunting all the time." I was really put off by this and said, "Can you stop talking about this?" Then he continues on about killing animals and whatnot, and I asked A, "Why are you so violent?" And he just said, "Violent? I'm not violent. What do you mean?" Clearly A did not get the message. I just thought this was really unnecessary and gross to say after I was talking about an innocent creature. After I brought this up to G, she started saying to leave him alone and that he's really nice. Also, how A is allowed to have those opinions and beliefs, and I do not have to agree with them. While yes, people are allowed to disagree, I would not include harmful actions and beliefs like that as personal choices and just some opinions. We kind of argued about it, and G, who's not vegan, said it was fine for A to say that, and that there's nothing wrong with describing animal flesh like that. I just think it's really awful to say things like that when I am thinking about any animal. Am I wrong to be annoyed at something like this? And be annoyed at both of them?
No, you're not an asshat for being annoyed. There's nothing wrong with feeling what you feel, and the way I see it, that's a perfectly reasonable response. I'm sure I would feel annoyed at that type of conversation, particularly if I'm talking about an adorable little gosling that I just saw and somebody else is saying, ooh, it'd make a good dinner. Yeah, that would probably tick me off a little bit.
Yeah, me too.
But here's the thing. G is right.
Once again,
G is right in that A is absolutely entitled to their own opinions and beliefs and perspectives.
Yeah.
And while you don't need to respect that particular choice or belief system or anything like that, you can't control how they put that forward.
No, I guess what you would say is, I'm sorry, I guess I can't be around you.
Yeah, that's an option.
Because what you're saying is offensive to me.
Or it's deeply disturbing to me. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then leave it at that. I mean, you can't be friends with everybody.
No, you can't.
You know?
That's right. So, you know, if I think you have two options here. One, you can either have a conversation with A and explain why you are disturbed or annoyed or irritated by this particular topic. Or you can choose not to engage with them. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, it seems like they're in a college club. I don't know what the club is. So it seems like it might be necessary for them to at least be in the same room with A on a regular basis.
Sure.
But like Sam said, I think the answer here is have a conversation with A, not with G about A.
Yes.
Because maybe A doesn't understand where you're coming from.
I completely agree with that.
It seems like you don't know this person very well.
That's right.
They're a friend of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
They might not even know you're vegan.
Probably not.
And maybe if they did know you were vegan, they wouldn't have said those things.
Maybe.
In the way that they said them.
It's possible.
Or maybe A just likes to antagonize people.
That could be as well.
You know, in which point, you would just decide not to engage A in conversation anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that seems about right.
Yeah. So, hey, again, not an asshat.
Nope.
You are not wrong for being annoyed. I would be annoyed also.
Okay. Our next question comes from Bebe Ding Ding. Great name.
What does Bebe Ding Ding have to say?
All right. I'm stuck in a group chat with my family, who are all meat eaters, and they constantly send memes about vegans being stupid or extreme. The last one was a baby carrot hugging a mom carrot, and the caption was, "A rare photo of a baby carrot clinging to its mother just before being eaten by a vegan. Stop this cruelty now."
Okay.
And I'm the only vegan in my family. So I responded by sending them slaughterhouse pictures, and they got mad at me. Then they say I attacked them when they were just trying to be funny. Well, in my mind, it would have been funny if they weren't actually causing these things to happen. I mean, if they were all vegan, then sure, let's laugh. But they are making fun of me while actually killing animals. My dad said we should just kill all the animals so nobody would eat them. I replied, or we can just learn to live with them and not eat them or breed billions of them into existence for our pleasure. So was I wrong to share those pics? I want them to know what is happening behind their sad jokes, but they always get frustrated at me. Not that I mind. I'm just wondering.
I think that was an asshat move, sending the slaughterhouse pictures. I really do.
Again, I don't know if I would go so far as to say asshat, but pictures of a slaughterhouse are not the same thing as a cartoon baby carrot meme.
No, it's, definitely not the same thing.
It's really far removed.
Find a funny meme about somebody eating meat.
That's right.
Why did this person have to go, why did Bebe Ding Ding have to go medieval on them?
Yeah.
And pull out slaughterhouse footage.
Well, right.
You know,
I mean, and essentially,
seems extreme.
Yeah, it's kind of like the idea of a proportional response.
Right.
The idea of a proportional response is that, you know, when one nation or entity is attacked, they respond in a proportional way. That, you know, if someone gets shot with a bow and arrow, they don't, you know, get out the nuclear codes.
Right.
And so that's, I feel like what really happened here is that, you know, the family insensitively, I will admit, insensitively sent a meme that they thought was funny. You did not think it was funny. But instead of shooting back with a bow and arrow, you went for the nuclear launch codes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that makes sense because it was an emotional response.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand that was an emotional response, but come on. It took them a while to find slaughterhouse pictures. I mean, unless this person keeps slaughterhouse pictures, on the ready.
That's a fair point.
So they had a little bit of time to think about it. I think it was a little, even though it was an emotional response, it was a little over the top.
Oh, no,
to say the least.
Over the top for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. But again, I don't know that it's bona fide ass hattery. This one's a bit on an edge.
I don't know. I put myself in the same situation. We have family group texts going.
Oh, yeah.
A lot. And I think if someone in my family shared that carrot comic, I would chuckle at it, and I would not respond with slaughterhouse footage.
Oh, no, definitely not.
I think that would be a horrible, horrible thing to do to members of my family.
No. I'd instead go find a meme about meat or dairy and send that back.
Right.
So, yeah, I do think it was an overreaction.
So I think we're going to have to agree to disagree on this one.
And that's fine.
I think BB Ding Ding is a bona fide asshat.
Okay. And I think it was a hair trigger response to an emotional situation, and I'm not 100% ready to assign motive.
Okay. Moving on. This next one comes from Brock Illy.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Am I overreacting? So for Christmas, my family got me new kitchen stuff because I'm in school for culinary and love cooking. And I made a bean loaf for my Christmas dinner. It didn't taste good, in my opinion, but oh well, live and learn. My family is omni and thinks I'm rude for wanting animal products away from my food and equipment. They don't understand why I won't eat animals or their byproducts because it's so much better and healthier for me to eat them, in quotations. But anyway, I made my Christmas dinner and noticed that the grease from the bacon my brother was having for breakfast was getting into the dishwater. My mother was hand washing the dishes as they were being used. And I told my mother I did not want my brand new food processor in the bacon fat water. She called me a narcissist and said if I wanted to double wash it, then that was my own problem. So she ended up washing my new stuff in her bacon greasy soapy water. My mother washed my new vegan food processor in soapy water that had bacon grease in it and got mad at me for not wanting it washed in bacon grease. My family makes me feel like I'm a burden all the time when it comes to food, and frankly, I am kind of tired of it. So, do you think that Brock Illy overreacted?
No.
I don't either. I absolutely would not want my stuff being washed in soapy water laced with bacon grease.
Right, absolutely. So my question here, though, is why was the food processor being washed to begin with? If the food processor was a gift, you wouldn't think that it would perhaps be used that day.
No, she was making her bean loaf, which she said didn't turn out as good as she wanted to. But
I see. Okay, so she got the food processor to make the bean loaf.
Yes.
Okay, got it. I'm on the right page now.
Okay.
So no, I don't think this is an overreaction at all. I completely agree. I wouldn't want any of our kitchen utensils or equipment washed in water that had any animal products or vestiges of animal products in it. So no, I don't think it's an overreaction. Your mother referring to you as a narcissist was an overreaction for sure.
Yeah.
And obviously you're stuck having to wash the food processor a second time no matter what. But the issue here is not with you.
No, I think the issue is definitely with at least your mother.
Yeah.
Who called you a narcissist.
And then went right ahead and took your personal property.
And put it in that greasy
water.
Yeah.
Like almost just to show you that she could.
Yeah.
So to me, you are not overreacting. You are not an asshat. But you know what? Your mom
sounds like she may be a bit of an asshat.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry the bean loaf didn't turn out.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that too.
Yeah.
Try lentils and walnuts.
What's next?
Next, we have from Not Cinderella. People hate vegans. Am I the asshat for making a low-effort meal for my vegan cousin? Low effort is in air quotes, by the way. I had my family over for dinner a few nights ago and wanted to prepare something nice since I really love cooking. This is the first time we've all gotten together since Christmas, and my cousin let me know in advance that she went vegan at the start of January as one of her New Year's resolutions. It's something she's talked about doing for a while, but she didn't make the jump until recently. I told her I'd make sure there was food for her. One of my best friends got me a nice set of ramekins as a Christmas gift, and I decided to test them out by making some smoked salmon soufflés for dinner. I was a little nervous because I had never tried out this recipe before, but they turned out great. I also made a devil's chocolate cake for dessert. For the side dish, I put together a salad with lettuce, arugula, mixed berries, and a strawberry balsamic vinaigrette. It was really tasty, and I thought it would be a good idea to make enough so that everyone could have it as a side, and my cousin could have a large portion for her meal. I also made sure to keep the dressing separate from the salad because I knew it had honey in it. My cousin said she appreciated that I kept her in mind, but that it seemed like her dinner was an afterthought, and that salad wasn't a meal on its own. She said if I had told her I was only making her a salad, she would have brought a dish of her own to share. This really rubbed me the wrong way because I feel like I did go out of my way to include her. Am I the asshat?
No, definitely not. Not Cinderella. You are also not the asshat here.
Asshat? No, definitely not.
Do you think that this was an afterthought? Do you think that this was a low effort?
Compared to what was made for the rest of the party, yes.
Yeah.
A little bit. Now, I do disagree with the statement that a salad is not a meal in and of itself.
A salad can totally be a meal.
We frequently have salads as meals in and of themselves, so I don't agree with that. But since the salad was being made as a side for everybody else, yes, you didn't put in any extra work for the vegan cousin.
Sure.
You know, you did what you wanted to do. You made the salmon soufflés, you made the chocolate cake, and then you made a salad for everybody. Oh, but we'll make enough to make sure the vegan can eat it as a meal.
Can eat salad, yeah.
So, in my opinion, and these two are not necessarily the same, you did phone it in. Especially when we're talking about a Christmas dinner.
Okay.
You did. You phoned it in.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's necessarily asshattery. Again, I think it's a little bit of lack of consideration. You were so concerned about what you were making for everybody else that the vegan did turn into an afterthought. And I can see where they would feel a little bit slighted.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't think you intended to be an asshat.
No, it's not intentional asshattery.
No.
Yeah.
And so while I will say you phoned it in, you could have done a little bit more.
Yeah.
You're overstating the effort you made.
Right.
You're not exactly an asshat either.
Yeah. I think my question would be, was the chocolate cake vegan?
My guess is going to be no.
See, that's probably when the vegan got mad.
Right? That they couldn't have the chocolate cake. That's because, a very good point.
You know, it's fine. I have my salad. I'm used to that. I had my salad. Now everybody's having dessert and I can't have it.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm mad.
Yeah.
You know, I can see, I mean, I personally would not get mad, but I can see somebody being like, okay, now I'm mad. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Because now I do feel like an afterthought.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, this would have been there's a really simple fix to this. You should have just called your vegan cousin and said, hey, this is what I'm making for Christmas dinner.
What do you think?
Does this work for you?
Yeah.
And then they could have brought something that could have been their main dish.
Right.
Along with the
something
salad.
to complement the salad, or something else to put in the salad, you know, some baked tofu or something, a good loaf of bread, you know. I mean, anything to make it a little more substantial. It is only one meal. You're not going to die if all you eat is salad for one meal.
Heavens no.
But I will bet you money that chocolate cake is what incited it.
I actually love the idea of that.
I can just see it happening.
That it's really not about the salad, it's about the cake.
Yeah. After everybody else ate this like glorious meal that this person made for everyone other than the vegan person, then they brought out this chocolate cake and they couldn't have it. Yeah. That's
fair.
That's when the gauntlet got put down, right? On the table.
Yeah.
So
you're probably not wrong.
Yeah. Not an asshat, just, you're right. You phoned it in.
Yeah. Communication is key.
Yeah. Low effort indeed. This next one comes from Silver Astronomer 8429. Am I the asshat for not going out to dinner with my family? I'm on vacation in a coastal city in Argentina with my family. The issue is that there's hardly any vegan food in almost any restaurant. And if there is, it's a burger or a vegetable sandwich from which I have to ask them to remove the cheese. We've all been there, right?
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, my family wants to go to a well-known Pizzeria X, which I inquired about a few days ago, and they told me there was nothing vegan in the restaurant. Today, my family went for a walk, and I stayed alone on the beach. To add context, I was already in a bad mood because they aren't willing to walk 5 more blocks to go to an ice cream parlor or a churro place where they offer vegan churros and ice cream. Ooh, vegan churros.
Vegan churros and ice cream. Yeah. That sounds good.
They prefer to go to the places closer, knowing that I can't eat anything there. The thing is, when they returned from their walk, they said, "We've sorted out tonight's dinner. We're going to Pizzeria X." And I thought, well, maybe they asked and they can make a vegetable pizza without cheese. Not ideal, but okay. But no, they told me. They said you can buy a sandwich somewhere else and bring it. There's no problem. Now they're about to go to dinner, and I mentioned that I wouldn't go. And that I'm going to cook something and have dinner alone in the apartment. The thing is, they're treating me like the party pooper, bitter and exaggerating for not wanting to go with them. Am I the asshat?
No,
I think your family is they're being a bunch of asshats.
Yeah, a little bit. So no, absolutely not. You are making a perfectly reasonable choice to take care of yourself and make sure that you are getting food that sticks to your ethics and is in some way nutritionally viable.
Yeah. And just the fact that they're not willing to walk 5 more blocks so that you can get a vegan churro with ice cream.
That's ridiculous.
They too could have the vegan churro with ice cream.
That's right.
And they would like it.
I'm imagining they would.
And the fact that they called this place to find out if you could bring your own sandwich.
Right.
That's just ridiculous.
It really is.
Right?
Yeah.
And who ever heard of a pizza place that won't even serve you a vegetable pizza without cheese?
Yeah, that should have been the question.
Yeah, that's weird.
Can we do a vegetable pizza? Can we do a white pizza?
No cheese.
No cheese.
Yeah.
Or if there's Parmesan in the red sauce, can we get rid of the red sauce?
Get rid of the red sauce. Yeah. I mean, it won't be the best pizza you've ever had. And like this person said, that would be okay. But they wouldn't even do that.
No. So no, I think you're actually making a really good choice for your sanity and your overall well-being. So no, I do not think that you are being an asshat.
No, stay home. Make yourself something good.
That's right. You're
not a party pooper.
Nope.
And this is the last one.
This comes from 4-Piece 27. Am I the asshat for showing your teenage cousins how meat is produced? Am I the asshat for causing my cousin's parents to make changes to their kids' diet? My 13 and 15-year-old cousins are starting to embrace veganism after we watched Dominion at my house a few weeks back. First, can I say Dominion at 13 and 15?
Wow. Yeah, that's a bit much.
Wow. Okay.
Continue.
That's rough. They wanted to know why I don't eat meat, so I showed them the documentary and told them that's why. It definitely had an impact, since yesterday I got a call from their parents saying that they will never be allowed to stay at my house without their supervision, because apparently now my cousins are making it hard for us to find food that they will eat. They now have to make consumer changes for their own children, and they think I am the asshat for making them do so. Some background. My uncle and aunt grew up in Iran. They are somewhat old school, but they are liberal on a lot of issues. I am currently the only vegan in my family, and they are all well aware of this. Also, my cousins look up to me as a role model, and they try to emulate me. My cousins and I watched Dominion a few weeks back. Now, my cousins won't eat certain meals that contain meat, and their parents are blaming me for the consumer changes they have to make for their kids. Am I the asshat?
I'm going to say no, but maybe not start with Dominion. It obviously made an impact.
Obviously. I agree.
13 and 15. I mean, 13 and 15, probably old enough, but since you're not their parent, yeah, it's probably not a good idea to show that graphic of a film to young people without their parents' knowledge.
If I wanted to recommend a documentary to an adult friend who was questioning or thinking about going vegan, I wouldn't recommend Dominion.
No, that wouldn't be where I'd go first. That's for sure.
No, definitely not. You know, I would go with something that, you know, of course, puts the facts out there, but not in such a graphic and disturbing way.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have chosen Dominion, particularly if, as you admit later in the post, that your cousins look up to you and they emulate you. That's not a small responsibility.
Yeah.
That's kind of huge. So I think you might have been better off answering the question verbally, which admittedly you say you've done many times.
Yeah.
But talking about it or showing a different documentary.
Yeah, maybe a less graphic documentary that gives the same facts, but not in quite the same way.
Yeah. So I do think the use of Dominion was a step too far. But at the same time, I don't think this is asshattery in any way, shape, or form. No,
I totally understand why this person did that. And I find it really interesting that the parents are mad not because their kids saw that film. Mm-hmm. They're mad because now they have to buy different things.
Yeah. Yeah, that strikes me as really strange as well.
That's what they're mad about. The fact that they're having a hard time buying vegan food.
Yeah.
Not because this cousin showed their 13 and 15-year-old a pretty graphic film about the animal agriculture industry.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
That's what they're mad about.
It is interesting.
So, after all is said and done, as long as the parents are going to continue to seek out vegan food for their 13 and 15-year-old, I think while the means of getting there was not great,
right,
you got there.
Yeah, absolutely. And regardless of what you've told them or showed them, I mean, 13 and 15, these are cognizant young people.
Yeah, they're young. I would almost say young adults, right?
They can make up their own minds about things. Their parents might not like the conclusions that they come to, and that's not uncommon in any context. But you are not responsible for their choices. They could watch Dominion and go, dude, that sucks, and still continue to eat meat.
Right.
So, no, definitely not an asshat.
I don't think this person is an asshat at all. Mm-mm. Just maybe not the best choice of films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe pick a different film next time.
Like I said, just because they're young people and their parents didn't know that that's what you were going to show them.
Right.
Not for any other reason.
That's right. If they were over 18, no problem.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, go for it. So that was our last one, and I think we only really found one asshat. At least I only found one asshat in the whole group.
Well, I mean, we found some asshats. It's just that the asshats weren't the authors.
Right. Yeah, that sometimes happens.
It does.
Am I the asshat? No, but everybody else was. Right?
Yes.
Your mother who called you a narcissist.
Yeah, that's asshattery.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, let us know if you agree with our decisions in those situations, because a couple of those were really interesting. That last one, very interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot to unpack there. And that brings us to our assignment, Restaurant SOS.
This week, listener Stacy Loeb sent us a DM and let us know that Organic Grill is at risk of closing. Located at 133 West 3rd Street, New York, New York, Organic Grill is a 100% vegan and mostly gluten-free restaurant that was established in 2000. They make all of their own cheeses and proteins and support local organic food growers and artisanal food producers.
And Organic Grill is a New York City staple. Okay? 24 years of business, and they're struggling. They're really struggling. And they are reaching out to the public to please support as much as you can. Bring your family, bring your friends. Let's take a little bit of a look at their menu and tell you what you can get at the Organic Grill.
I have to tell you, just kind of scrolling a little bit, the all veggies tofu omelet looks fabulous.
Yeah, it looks to me like casual fine dining.
It does. Yeah. So it's upscale comfort food.
Yeah. The food is upscale, but the place isn't.
Right. I actually love they have on their menu a burger called the Rich Roll Lentil Tzatziki Burger.
Yeah, that sounds good.
It really does. This burger was actually created and approved by plant-powered wellness advocate, best-selling author, ultra athlete, and podcast host, Rich Roll.
There you go.
That is so cool.
Yeah, we might have to take the train to New York to get to Organic Grill.
Yeah, definitely.
While they're still doing it.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely. We did not make it to Organic Grill on our last trip.
We did not.
We may just have to make a special trip for this very purpose.
What else looks good on here? Roasted sweet potato home fries. Yeah, you had me at home fries.
Like the green melt looks fantastic. Loaded fries, the turmeric jasmine rice.
Yeah, king oyster mushrooms.
Watermelon salad. I'm all over this.
4 savory puff pastry triangles.
Oh, there you go.
With kale and mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds really good.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on here, but I'm telling you, if we got on the train right now, I would be all about that Rich Roll Lentil Tzatziki Burger.
They make a shredded coconut mozzarella.
Nice.
I'd like to try that.
Yeah.
I love that they make all their own meats and cheeses.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And they have raw desserts. They've got a raw tiramisu. They've got a raw carrot cake, a key lime cheesecake, and a gluten-free cannoli.
Sounds good.
It really does.
Yeah, so if you're ever in New York City, go to 133 West 3rd Street, New York, New York, to Organic Grill and support.
Please.
Because they're struggling, and after 24 years of providing what looks like some really great vegan food to the city of New York, you know, they need help.
They do. We don't want to see them fold.
We do not. Also, follow their socials. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook. And thanks, Stacy, for, giving us a heads up on that.
Indeed.
It's time for our favorite portion of the show.
Must be listener shout-out time.
It's listener shout-out.
Just want to give a shout-out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
This week's listener shout-out goes to Emily Whelan. Emily manages Wurlitzer Pizza, is a vegan, and is responsible for all of the amazing vegan options at Wurlitzer. If you've been listening for any length of time, you know that we are huge fans of Wurlitzer Pizza. Without question, it is the best vegan pizza in this geographic area.
In the Buffalo area. Yep.
Yeah, there's nothing to touch it. So, Emily, we so deeply appreciate all of your house-made options and the incredible menu that you have curated. So, Emily, thank you so much for listening and for making some really amazing pizza that we are absolutely willing to drive slightly more than an hour for.
Yeah, thanks for listening, Emily. And send us your t-shirt size and address so we can send you a Compassion and Cucumbers swag bag. You can either text us that information using the link in our show notes. You can email us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram or Facebook.
And for the rest of you out there, we're running low on listener shout-outs again.
Still running low.
So if you want a listener shout-out, please text, email, or DM Christine. Let her know what you think of the show and tell us a little bit about yourself. You can also nominate someone else for a shout-out. Don't forget that a shout-out enters you into our Mise and Chef Knife giveaway later this year.
You want to get in on that.
You really do.
It's time for our Vegan Org of the Week. This week's Vegan Org of the Week is World Animal Protection.
World Animal Protection has campaigns focusing on wildlife protection, food systems, animal sentience, and sea life protection. They have moved the world to protect animals for more than 70 years. Known as the World Society for the Protection of Animals, or WSPA, for 30 years, they changed their name in 2014 to evolve their brand along with their mission. The name World Animal Protection demonstrates who they are and what they stand for, clearly and simply. To learn more about their work, to get involved, or to support them, go to worldanimalprotection.org.
It's time to wrap this thing up. Please join the Agriculture Fairness Alliance's Vegan Voter Hub. We always put the link in the show notes, so click that link and join the Vegan Voter Hub. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app and on our YouTube. Leave us a review and a rating. And last but not least, text us show ideas, recipes, cookbook recommendations, or just to say hello.
And with that, it's time to sign off. You have just listened to episode 146 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, and there's nothing left to say but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion on the podcast.
Thanks, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
Bye-bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our Vegan Kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.